Hello everyone, it's Samantha here, Samantha Sutherland Art and Books, and welcome to this week's edition of Poetry Thursday. I racked my brains, but not too long, for this particular poet. My daughter actually said, yes, pick him. So I did. I introduced my daughter to this particular poet, and she is a big fan of his. I am a huge fan. I have been since I was little. This poet that I have picked, most people will know him because if you're of my age, you would have been introduced to him probably in primary school. He comes from kind of the same era as people like Roald Dahl. His books were illustrated by Quentin Blake a lot of the time. He's best friends with Quentin Blake. Quentin Blake, by the way, is one of my all-time favourite illustrator artists. I could go on and on about Quentin Blake, and I've got lots of his books. I absolutely love his artwork, and I absolutely love his illustrative work. I follow him on Instagram and I think Facebook as well. This particular poet as well has his own YouTube channel, and he reads his own poetry and storytelling on the YouTube channel. He uploads, I think, like maybe once a month or so. My daughter is subscribed to him she made me subscribe to him, and which was not a hard decision to make. Also, just to let you know, I'm not feeling very well today, so this is a perfect distraction for me. Thanks to a bout of gastritis and for some annoying reason, a fibro flare up, and also the neighbours have been rather noisy all day. But that's another thing. Hopefully, I can enthuse you to this poet, as I am very enthusiastic about him. I absolutely love this poet. He's my hero. I absolutely love this poet, and the poet I'm going to be reading from, the book of poems I'm going to be reading from today, is by Michael Rosen, illustrated by Quentin Blake, and it's called Quick, Let's Get Out of Here. I borrowed this from my daughter's little library that's growing nearly as much as mine, maybe not as fast. But she let me borrow some of his books, and she has about 3 of them. Four. No, 3, and the Quentin Blake one, which is Lovelies. And I also want to get hold of another one of Michael Rosen's books, which is sad, but that's because I've read excerpts of it and it's absolutely stunning. And also Quentin Blake illustrated it so absolutely beautifully and perfectly, in my opinion. But Michael Rosen is the poet that I have chosen to read from the book of today. So who is Michael Rosen? Well, he was born in 1946 in North London, and he's one of the best known figures in the children's book world. He's renowned for his work as a poet, performer, and broadcast and script writer. And he's an author of many, many, many books. He visits schools with his one-man show to enthuse children with his passion for books and poetry, and he is one of the first poets to make visits to schools throughout the UK and also visited schools throughout the world. He started writing poetry when he was 12, creating satirical poems about people he knew. His parents, who were both teachers and distinguished educators, were from the Jewish East End tradition, their parents and grandparents coming from Poland, Russia and Romania. He went to various state schools in Pinner, Harrow and Watford, and by the time he was 16 he was an avid poetry reader, especially enjoying D.H. Lawrence's poems and James Joyce's portrait of the artist as a young man. He started to write deadly serious poems about things he had done when he was much younger, about girls and about nature. In the 6th form he was introduced to the work of Gerard Manley Hopkins. Although he tried to write in a similar style, the results, he says, were incomprehensible and very boring. He actually attended Middlesex Hospital Medical School for a year, but he quickly transferred to Wadham College, Oxford, to read English. And at Oxford he started to realise his ambition for acting as well as writing and directing. Michael began looking outside the recommended reading to contemporary working class ballads. He retained a passion for street rhymes, popular songs and folk stories. Most of Michael's books are considered to be for children, but he started his career as a writer with the play Backbone that went on to the Royal Court in 1969. His next up was the BBC, where he worked on Play School, which I used to watch when I was little, school TV and radio dramas, until 1972 when he went freelance. He wrote poems about his childhood, published in 1974 as Mind Your Own Business. He quickly established himself with his collection of humorous verse for children, including Wouldn't You Like to Know, You Tell Me, and Quick, Let's Get Out of Here. Poetry critic Morag Stiles has described him as one of the most significant figures in contemporary children's poetry. He was, she says, one of the first poets to draw closely to his own childhood experiences, and to tell it as it was in the ordinary language children actually use. Michael Rosen's writing for children appeals to all ages, and it really does. I still absolutely, I was sat reading the book yesterday, or books, and I smile and laughing. And it just took me back to when I was little as well, and it's just perfect. He writes non-fiction, novels, picture books, retells classics and stories from other cultures, as well as writing poetry. He's been shortlisted for and won many awards. You Can't Catch Me won the Signal Poetry Award in 1982, and such is the enduring appeal of the poems that the book was reissued in 2006 with Don't Put Mustard in the Custard as Mustard. Custard, Grumble Belly and Gravy, illustrated by Quentin Blake for Bloomsbury. His classic picture book, We're Going on a Bear Hunt, which I think a lot of people, especially those with children, are very familiar with. The amount of times I read that to my daughter at bedtime, and it's still upstairs. It's on the Quentin Blake, Michael Rosen shelf, and another author which I wanted to collect the books of, and we still have it. Love that book. Illustrated by Helen Oxenbury, won the Nestle Smarties Grand Prize in 1989. The English Association awarded Michael Rosen's Sad Book, illustrated by Quentin Blake, an exceptional award for the best children's illustrated book of 2004 in the 4 to 11 age range, and I have seen excerpts from the book. It is absolutely gorgeous, and I would love to get my hands on it, if only for the artwork and also the words in the book. They just work so beautifully together. And it's a book about after his son, his second eldest son, Eddie, had passed away. The book deals with bereavement following the publication in 2002 of Carrying the Elephant, a memoir of love and loss, which was published after the death of his son Eddie, who features as a child in much of Rosen's early poetry. He really does. He sadly died from meningococcal septicemia at the age of 18, which is very sad. In 2004, This Is Not My Nose, a memoir of illness and recovery, an account of his 10 years with an undiagnosed underactive thyroid, was published by Penguin. Michael's most recent publications illustrate the range of his output and interests and include books about Shakespeare and Dickens and a selected poems published by Penguin, which includes some previously published poems, some poems for children, and some new works edited so that the book follows a chronological sequence from his early childhood to present day. So that is Michael Rosen. So today I'm going to be reading 2 poems, and I know that was quite long. I'm very sorry, but I'm a huge fan of Michael Rosen. But yes, this is published by Puffin Poetry, and as you can see, Quentin Blake's absolutely stunning. Even though it's line work, it's still absolutely stunning. This one's called I Wake Up, this one. Excuse me. And part of the gastritis, I keep burping. I'm very sorry if I burp whilst I'm recording this. I can't help it, I'm sorry. I thought this was perfect for this week for me, to be honest. So this one, it's called I Wake Up. I wake up, I am not me. I am bodiless, I am weightless, I am legless, I am armless. I am in the sea of my mind. I am in the middle of my brain. I am afloat in a sea of nothing. It lasts for one flicker of an eyelash. And then, once again, I am my full heaviness. I am my full headedness. I am my full bodiness. Here. Hello. So that one was I Wake Up. And the second one is I'm Not Going Places With Them Again. And this is a poem, memory, story type thing. It reads like a poem and also a story and a memory, in my opinion anyway, and I'm going to read it because I love it. But look at the beautiful illustrations by Quentin Blake. What I might do is I might take photos and put them down as stills. Put them somewhere and kind of put them throughout the reading of this. I'm really sorry, but this is a good few pages and I really, really loved this. I thought it was really funny. I'm not going places with them again. When we went to Chessington Zoo with the club, we all went in and the leader said, right, listen everyone, everyone listen. You can all go off where you like for the next 2 hours. We'll all meet up here at 4 o'clock. At 4 o'clock, okay? Then we all went off where we liked. I saw the lions and the seals and the parrots and the giraffes and the crocodiles. I ate my cheese and pickle sandwiches, a packet of crisps, and drank some of my fizzy orange and ate a chocolate Swiss roll. Then I asked someone the time and she said 4 o'clock. So I went back to where we had to meet. When I got there, everyone started shouting at me. Where have you been? Where do you think you've been? We've been looking for you for hours and we couldn't find you anywhere. We've scarcely had a chance to see any of the animals. Where have you been? I looked at them and I said, I've been walking around the zoo. I'm on time, aren't I? So they started shouting at me again. You weren't supposed to wander off on your own, were you? You were supposed to be in your group. Everyone else was in their groups. You weren't, were you? Well, we've got to go now. Just think, you've spoiled everyone's afternoon now. I listened to all that, but I wasn't sorry. They said, you can go off now. They didn't say anything about groups. What groups? I'm not going places with them again. I could go on and on and on reading. I could shut your mouth when you're eating. I'm sorry, I'm going to have just one more, please, one more. I love this one. Again, Quentin Blake, beautiful image. Shut your mouth when you're eating. I am, Dad. Mouth. It is shut. I can see it isn't. I can hear it isn't. What about his mouth? You can see everything in his mouth. He's only 2. He doesn't know any better. You can see all his peas and tomato sauce. That's none of your business. 2 minutes go by. Dad, yes. Your mouth's open. Shut your mouth when you're eating. It is shut. Thank you very much. I can see it isn't, Dad. I can see all the food in there. Look, that's my business, okay? Peas, gravy, spuds, everything. Look, you don't want to grow up to be as horrible as your father, do you? Answer that, smarty boots. It's what I mean. It's just, it's perfect and it's beautiful. And one more. I promise, one more, and then we'll go. Then I'll leave you alone. Nothing much. I only meant to read 2. I'm really sorry. You can see how much I absolutely adore this poet, this author, this person. He's a national treasure. He should be. Yeah, he's fantastic. Nothing much. What did you do on Friday? Nothing much. I like doing nothing quite often, like putting on old hats or drawing forests along the edges of the newspaper we keep under the sink. How about you? I showed my mum and dad what I had made in school that week. It was a lorry that works on elastic bands, and my dad said, "What did you make that thing for?" I bet he played with it when I went to bed. It's just kind of his memories of him being a kid, and also, you know, he was right. They were told that they could go off for 2 hours, do whatever they wanted, and he did, and he got shouted at. It's kind of what I would probably have done. But again, Quentin Blake's artwork just manages to perfectly illustrate his words, they work just absolutely beautifully with the book. And I need to try and remember which other poems I read, or the kind of story poems in a way, aren't they? Memories. I mean, shut your mouth when you're eating. If you've got kids and you're telling them to shut their mouth when they eat, and then they spot you doing the exact opposite of what you've told them, what do you tell them? What do you tell them? It's like, yeah, you know, if you've got kids, you've been there, you've experienced it. But anyway, I think I've gone on for way too long this week. I am so very sorry, but I hope you enjoyed my reading from Michael Rosen's Quick, Let's Get Out of Here. And yeah, you know what? I'm not even going to be sorry. I'm not even sorry. I'm not sorry that I found out all the wonderful information about an amazing poet. And I think you can tell he's my all-time favourite. He has been for a very, very long time. It's my aim to collect every book he's ever written, I think. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that, because I really, really did. So from me to you, I will see you later. I know I was supposed to put out a video this week, but I'm still waiting for my big books to arrive for the Beefcake book tag. And as soon as they have, I will make that book tag and I will make my whole video, because I have a few books. Whoops. So you can find me, on Instagram, on Facebook, and on Goodreads. And on that note, good reading to you. Happy Poetry Thursday. Stay warm, stay cozy, and I will see you all later on. Thank you very much for spending all this time with me. And I'm not sorry it's a long video, because I had thoroughly enjoyed reading from this book, and also the fact that it distracted me from how utterly rubbish I'm feeling today. So I'm so very not sorry that I read the amount from this by accident. I knew it was going to happen. I did. Anyway, I'm going now. I'm going to stop rambling. I'm going to let you get back on with your evening, whatever you're getting up to. So as I said just before I started rambling, stay warm, stay cozy, happy reading, and I will see you all very, very soon for my next Poetry Thursday. Although I don't know who I'm going to choose, which I say every week. I have a lot to choose from. So, and you never know, I might end up choosing some more Michael Rosen. So until next week, I will see you later. Bye, everyone.